Hello, my brothers and sisters. Greetings from South Valley Neighborhood Church. I would like to do a lesson today, and I could call it, I guess, the Green New Deal or Going Green. And we seem to have kind of like another division in this country. Many people are very adamant about drastic measures in trying to protect the environment and things like that. But I wanted to share some scriptures that may give us a different reference point, because it does create divisions, and maybe we're not as far apart as people think in this country. And if we could, I would like to start in Genesis chapter 1 in verse 24. I'm really trying to get down a few verses, but I thought I'd go ahead and start in 24 because I wanted people to see, I'm not reading the entire creation sequence, but in verse 24 it talks about the animals. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping things, and beasts of the earth after his kind." And it was so. So the earth, God had the earth bring forth these living creatures, which would support, to a certain extent, some evolution. I have no problem with that. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. But the first part of that says, "And God said, let the earth bring forth," which you're going to see a little difference when it comes to man. And God said, "Let us make man in our own image, after our likeness." Didn't ask the earth to bring forth man. He made man specifically in his own image. And remember, he breathed the breath of life into man, and man became a living soul. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." And God created man in his image, in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them. Now here's the thing. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth." And here's where the big division comes. First of all, this "be fruitful and multiply." And there are many people that feel the worst thing that ever happened to planet Earth is mankind. And if we could just get rid of most humans, the earth would be so much better off, and it will last for eons until we've developed ways to fly to a different planet, or And we've got medicines that will keep us alive forever. And so you have this division where God say, no, I put you on this earth. I want you to fill the earth with human beings. And you can have all the resources of the earth, all the plant and animal life, and have total dominion over this planet. It was created for us. And then there's the opposite school that says, no, man's just a unfortunate sequence of evolution that is very destructive to the planet. I'm not promoting being destructive to the planet, but this planet was here and created for a specific reason. To put man on it, let man try to control his own life, and hopefully man will come to the conclusion that he needs his God and can't control himself, and turn back to God. So the planet was made as a home for humanity so that the great harvest of humans that want to be back with their God and under God and know that they need their God and know that without God, man will destroy himself. In fact, the Bible tells us that God is not going to come and reap this harvest until man sees that if he doesn't come back right when he comes back, man will have completely annihilated himself off this planet. And God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherewith there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning was the sixth day. Now, we have our instructions to replenish the earth, to fill the earth with humanity. And of course, to do it efficiently, you want to try to not abuse or do things in a way that, is detrimental. But the priority is going to be the harvest, if you believe in that. And that's the big problem. Many people don't. And many people say this is all we have until we can fly to another or transport ourselves or whatever delusion that they have. But let's go to the next verse and we'll see what I'm talking about a little bit more. In Revelations, one verse in chapter 20, verse 11, it says, and I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no more place for them. So there is a point at which God will get rid of this universe. You say, well, no, he's just talking about the heaven and the earth. Well, the heavens include everything that we see when we look up in the night sky. And we can see galaxies, and we can even see the edge of the universe through our instruments. right? And it all fled away and was no longer there. The heavens and the earth are gone. And the next verse, also in Revelations 20:21, it's a passage here. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. So this new city, because there is no heaven and earth anymore, descends, and it's called New Jerusalem, but it's prepared as a bride for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle, or the dwelling place of God, is with men. And he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them, and be their God. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death. Thank God for that. No more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. I accidentally hit that. Okay, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I will make all things new. And he said unto me, Write these words. Write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said unto me, It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I'm the beginning and I'm the end. The beginning and the end I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the waters freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. Now, I want to keep going just a little bit further to verse 10. And he says, But the fearful and unbelieving, well, I have no problem with that. The fearful and the unbelieving, and the murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters, well, they're not really very good people, are they? The murderers, whoremongers, sorcerers, and idolaters. Maybe we can get rid of those guys too. But then he makes an interesting statement. And all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Well, wait a minute, because that one kind of, I know that I'm definitely not going to qualify based on that. I know I've lied, but I've done some of the other ones too. Although, this is the neat thing, God can erase our sin and make us pure and white as snow again. It only sticks to the unbelievers. So, and there came unto me one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials full of the seven plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife. That was, I thought, us, the body of believers, the bride of Christ. And we are New Jerusalem. And he carried me away in the Spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God. Now, I did some more research. If you go on down, it'll give you the actual dimensions of this city. And this city, made out of believers, is a 1,500-mile cube. And this is just not possible in the old heaven and earth. And the physical laws, the strong and weak nuclear forces, the force of gravity, and the force of electromagnetism does not permit for a 1,500-mile cube, not with the thickness of this type of an object. So we know that when he got rid of the old heaven and earth, and he created a new heaven and earth, and a new city that descended down to the new heaven and earth, that we are under different laws of physics. Everything's new, especially the one about there is no death, no more sorrow, no more pain, no more worry. That's all I do is worry. I'm the biggest worrier you'll ever meet. So it gives us something to look forward to. Now, my last passage, and this is in 2 Peter chapter 3, I think it's a 3 or 4 verse passage. It says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up." You mean all our skyscrapers and everything that we have accomplished and all the stuff we've done and the improvements we've made and the more efficient way of creating energy so that, we don't harm things, and we've been very good stewards. Look how well we've taken care of the planet. Yes, it, meant that because we switched from, certain types of fuels to other type of fuel, which doesn't exist, by the way. Many people had to starve, but look what we did. We took such good care of your planet, really. He's going to melt it. It's gone. It's all burned up. Everything that we had done. All our accomplishments that we thought we were so great at, right? Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, knowing that everything that you think that, or we think that we are doing so great is going to be dissolved. If you know that, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness. What should your priorities be, knowing that this earth is slated to be dissolved by God? Never going to create heaven on earth. Looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of God, wherein the heavens, being on fire, shall be dissolved, and all the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Look, we can pretend and play games about thinking we're going to go green. And we can starve millions of people, maybe even billions. And yet, that's what he cares about. And it's funny. We get rid of fossil fuels, even if it starves half the planet, and we don't have a replacement. There isn't one, I don't think, I was watching a program of this, there isn't one windmill that's ever actually paid for itself in the production of electricity before it is no good anymore. Doesn't work. We could say, well, one thing that would probably help the overpopulation of this planet is we'll just only allow pregnant men to have babies, right? And I can guarantee you that's going to shrink the population down considerably. What kind of crap are we supposed to believe here? CO2 is a very bad gas. Carbon dioxide, it's poison. Really. Every time I breathe out, I'm breathing out CO2. Every animal there is breathes out CO2. And it's funny about CO2. CO2 is what plants eat. And so you have all these forests, rainforests, all our forests here in New Mexico, and all over the planet that love to eat CO2. And guess what they put out? They eat the CO2. They take the carbon and make it into sugars that feed the plants, and then the plants feed the animals. But they put out, after they take the carbon out of the carbon dioxide, oxygen. So all the oxygen that we enjoy on this planet and breathe in comes from our forests and our plants. So why don't we take the U.S. Forest Service and have them do controlled burns and burn down half our forests, since they're so concerned about the environment? Do you see how crazy this is? It's almost like there's a deliberate conspiracy to accelerate havoc, starvation, and the priority is people. That's what God is interested in. Be fruitful and multiply. And he's going to come. And those that believe and realize they need their God are going to get to be with him. But I've done some of those bad things you mentioned there, and Revelation, He erased it the moment you first believed. He can change the past. He is God. To Him, you are as white as snow. I thank you for paying attention to me and listening to my lesson. I hope I haven't upset some people, but I mean, maybe it'll make you think. And if it did upset you, please post a comment on YouTube or on Facebook or wherever you want. And I would like you to keep me in your prayers. I've got some medical tests that terrify me coming up. Please keep me in your prayers. Keep all those in our church in your prayers. And brothers and sisters that you have, that you know are suffering, keep them in your prayers. Praying is so important, especially right now. God bless you all. Father, thank you for the new heaven and the new earth, and a time when we will be with you and be called your sons, your children. Thank you, Lord. For it's in Jesus Christ's name I pray and give you thanks. Amen.